Good morning. This is your co-host Desmond Wood via Mind Elevation Nation. And it's been a while since I've recorded a video, and I'll make this brief and sweet. And I want to talk about today the topic of regarding religious beliefs and traditions. Are they universal truths or universal dogmas? The belief in heaven or hell realms and heavenly realms. No matter how they differ, there are certain core beliefs in all religions, even what we know as Buddhism today, that can be viewed equally as universal truths or universal dogmas. And it remains a dogma when it is unchallenged. So right now, I'm neutral. It could be affirmed true or negated false. I don't want blind belief nor blind disbelief. So I'm trying to stay in the middle way. Because ultimately we don't know. Until we have a complete model of the universe or multiverse, we don't know for certain whether something is or isn't true. There may be some ghost or god or demon realm, but it's highly unlikely, very improbable. Yet, beings can exist in parallel dimensions because we don't have a full model of all the dimensions. But mathematics says that there should be at least 10 to 11 dimensions in existence. In theory, on paper, multiple dimensions, even parallel, are logically sound. Now, back to the main point. Universal truths or universal dogmas. The fact that many religions talk about heaven, hell, angels and demons and so on, life after death, could be because they stumbled upon. I say stumble because many religions don't emphasize reason and logic, unless you're talking about Buddhism or so-called Hinduism. Jainism, the religions that don't invoke a personal deity. Well, Jainism or Buddhism don't believe in a creator. It's not a theology in a traditional sense of theology. But whether ancient religions arrived at a universal truth or universal dogma depends on the evidence that they cite. And I don't see any convincing argument from any religion other than what comes out of Buddhism. And other than the heaven and hell realms and belief in karma in a traditional sense of reincarnation, everything else is pretty solid in the Dharma, the Sanskrit word that we translate into way or religion, but Dharma, sometimes called Dharma, because English doesn't have that Dha sound, is quite distinct from what we typically call religion. Islam is actually called Deen in Arabic, which means way. Deen ul-Islam, way of submission. Christianity and Judaism are viewed as religions, but I'll lump all of them together. The polytheistic, so-called polytheistic and monotheistic religions, and the philosophy of mind, Jainism and Buddhism all together, and that they espouse a belief in an afterlife, heaven or hell realm, that reality or afterlife based upon your deeds, and reincarnation, a cycle, which you don't find in Christianity or Islam. There's evidence in ancient Christianity there was belief in reincarnation, but that was burned like everything else in the many councils that we find in Christian historicity. But this is something to ponder on. When we view belief systems called religions in the past, are we looking at universal truths on the one hand or universal dogmas on the other? This is something for you to discover, for you to ponder on. And I'll leave you with that today. Peace. Desmond Wood with Mind Elevation Nation.